Hey, Robert, how you doing? All right, let's go take a look here. Let's take a look at your writing first. So this is good. I was glad to read this because really, I mean, I think by now you've pretty much gathered that to me the most important learning outcome of this class is to get students to understand that design is not about arbitrary decisions. Rather, it's about predefined decisions based on research that you've done for your client. And that's all design. That's not just logo design. That's really all designs. All design should have a reasonable amount of research behind it. And all design decisions should be based on the communication that you're establishing for your client, specifically the communication that is intended by the client, as well as the encoded meaning that is assigned to the client through data extraction of the research process. In this case, it would be the word lists, descriptive words that we used to analyze and to describe our client. So that's good. I mean, I think you totally get that at this point. So that's fantastic. As far as the word mark, I'm sorry, it's monogram, and this is good. I think it's a great start. So a couple of things I'm going to recommend. Now watch what happens when we zoom out, which kind of mimics this at a small size. It's really not recognizable anymore, and I think that one of the reasons for that is the fact that the stroke sizes are really super thin. The badge is, there's not enough contrast in the badge to hold up to the letter forms, so we can see the badge is the first thing to disappear at a small size, right? So I would recommend using the same color as the type for the badge itself. I also do not recommend using gradients because in a logo you really don't want to use gradients. You just want to, and the reason being is because there's different placement for logos. So this should be established. It's not to say you can't have a version of your logo if needed that uses gradients, but I would not recommend in basic logo development to use gradients in your logo design, and that is going to enhance and it's going to enhance the versatility of the piece itself, in that it's going to be able to be placed over images, other areas, different color, and so forth that that the gradients won't interfere with. Do you see what I'm saying? So when I design, I always design in black and white, and until I get the form down. Once the form is down, I start to assign color, but it's got to work in black and white. So in this particular case, I would say there's a few issues. Number one, as I said, I think that the shield itself is really thin. I would increase the stroke size of that shield. Also, give the GNS a little bit of room inside that shield. Okay, so right now the S is right butted up right against that shield here. That curve of the G is right against the curve of the shield, and likewise the curve of the S actually rests on the shield itself. So increase the shield size itself to give the GNS a little breathing space inside that shield. At that point, I would recommend that you also give the letters a little bit more space within the shield itself. So in other words, give a little space between the G and the N, a little space between the N and the S. Therefore, we have space all around the letter forms and between the letter forms. I would also consider increasing the stroke size so that once you give these letter forms a little more room, a little more area, a little more room to breathe, so to speak, then you can increase the stroke size, which will increase the contrast, in turn will increase the visibility, specifically when this monogram is placed on a certain color or even an image or something that doesn't have this pristine background like a solid color or even white. Okay, and those are my recommendations. I think that once you do that, I think this will become much more versatile and much more visible as well in terms of increasing contrast, etc. Okay, so those are my recommendations. If you have any questions at all, please let me know. I'll be glad to clarify. Thank you very much. Good work.